Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. If you want to be a part of this technology conversation, then you can find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, newsnetwork@sabc.co.za on email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. Here's what's coming up in the program. We find out about what some African tech startups are doing in their home countries. They pitched their businesses to potential funders, mentors and delegates at Seed Stars Africa in Maputo. Facebook has revealed a list of governments that wanted user data from them. Seth Mbele from Digital Voodoo will talk to us about that. And we'll chat about a fully South African-owned digital only bank. The founder of the bank, Lebo Kunguluza, is here for that one. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, Lebo.
Yes, thank you very much.
Is it now over for brick-and-mortar banks?
Well, it's a fourth industrial revolution, so it's starting to be over.
All right, we'll have a further discussion about that later in the program. But first, let's start with your technology and social media news. Now, tech entrepreneurs from across Africa pitched their ideas at the main Seed Stars Africa event in Maputo in Mozambique. They had healthcare solutions, apps linked to the church and various marketplaces. I decided to take my mobile phone and headed to the event as well. After meeting many people with Africa's tech solutions, Seed Stars put them in one venue in Maputo in Mozambique, where they could listen to experts, network and pitch their ideas.
Seed Stars is currently the biggest platform and network for entrepreneurs in technology in emerging markets. So we are specifically interested in how do entrepreneurs use technology to solve local, regional or even global issues.
Multimillionaire Lebo Kunguluza has started a digital bank in South Africa. He spoke to the entrepreneurs about his experiences. Miriam Mkonja works with tech startups at Buni Hub in Dar es Salaam. She says support from Tanzanians with money is not great.
Currently, most of the investments that are coming in the country are from people from outside the country. Unfortunately and fortunately, there have been so much support, for instance, from the people from the UK. The Finnish have done a big part of the innovation ecosystem.
From Nigeria, Vivian Nwaka pitched her online marketplace for medication. This is because of the availability of fake medication in the country.
In the US, I helped start up home healthcare agencies, went to business school, and went to Lagos for the first time ever just to complete an internship. And within the first month, my friend died from taking a fake malaria pill.
Pitches included a Ghanaian app for people to use mobile money to pay church tithes, a water-saving solution from Rwanda, an insurance initiative from Mozambique, and farming technology from Mali. Voice assistant technologies such as Siri, Bixby or Google Assistant are quite prevalent in the Western world, but it seems this isn't so in South Africa. Producer Lebogang Sejake tells us about the growth or lack of voice command systems in the country.
Bookmark this page.
Done. I added it.
From Samsung's Bixby, Apple's Siri to Amazon's Alexa. Technology giants have over the years adopted voice command technologies, though big in the Western world, but it does not seem to have picked up momentum here in South Africa.
I've never used Google Voice or Siri or any other voice commanding services.
But why?
I just don't find a use for it because I like typing a lot.
No, I've never used it.
You've never used it?
No.
Voice command, voice assistants are becoming more popular, and we know, at the end of 2017, the big Christmas gift in Europe and the US was Amazon's Alexa, for example. That's something we've not really seen much of in South Africa, although it does work here. So clearly there's a lot of interest in voice assistant technology, in the same way that I think there's a lot of interest in other new technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality. Whether we've seen the killer application of it yet, I'm not so sure. I don't know how many people use Siri on an iPhone, for example, to do all of their daily interactions with the phone. I think there's still a lot of questions around reliability, particularly if you have an accent at all.
Okay, joining the meeting, team stand up.
Cisco Systems is one of the Silicon Valley tech players that recently joined the voice assistance platform. Called Spark Assistant, this artificial intelligence tool is mainly for business meeting purposes.
Let's say that you have one of these great hardware endpoints in your conference room and you're running late for a meeting and you don't have your laptop with you and you don't have time to unlock your phone, and so you just want to get into the meeting as quick as possible. With Spark Assistant, the way it works is you just say, "Hey Spark, join the meeting."
Got it. Joining meeting, team stand up.
And so you're into your meeting in record time.
The question is, will South African businesses adopt to this technology anytime soon?
Where Cisco Spark Assistant is looking at is specifically on meetings at the moment, and I can kind of see where they're going with that. Walking into a meeting room, being able to talk to your video conferencing system. We know that even very skilled, very intelligent business people really struggle with basic technology like video conferencing, but I'm not sure at the moment whether or not voice command is the answer to some of the problems they're having.
Hello Siri. Well, it does not seem to be all doom and gloom for voice assistant technology here in the South African market, as some find it very useful.
I do use Siri as my voice command, as my personal assistant to be precise, for simple purposes, maybe like I want to order food or I want to calculate this. Usually I use Siri on my laptop, on my MacBook.
Just to check if maybe I wanna call someone, I wanna do it like quickly, so I just have to use my Siri. Like, Siri, can you find this number for me? And then that goes quickly.
Now, your Facebook video experience is likely going to be more lit. The social network has signed a deal with Universal Music so that users can add music as a soundtrack to some of their videos. The social network is also stopping its fake news red flag. They will now show related articles next to the one you are reading, so you can have multiple sources before believing what could be fake on the internet. Now, Facebook, the biggest social network in the world, has also revealed its list of governments who have been asking them for users' personal data information. It seems the number of requests they've been getting from governments has increased by 21%. The US government has also increased the number of requests they would like Facebook not to reveal to the user of the accounts whose data they are requesting. Seth Mbele from Digital Voodoo is with me to discuss this issue. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, Seth.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, what could governments want from personal data of users?
So in terms of the personal data of users, I think it's really important that we distinguish when we talk about Facebook. We're not just talking about the social media network. We're talking about all of the platforms that they own, like WhatsApp and Instagram. So when we're talking about the information that could be requested by governments, it's to corroborate whether I know you, the kind of communication that we're having between each other.
Why is that? Why would they care whether we know each other?
So, I mean, there are various laws around the world, especially in the US, anti-terrorism law, which allows for quite a bit of government interference in communication. So they would be using it to basically monitor uprisings, they monitor criminal behavior as well.
A lot of people use WhatsApp because of its encryption, and a lot of people would say they prefer that because of its encryption. Are you saying that you're not protected here?
I'm saying that there's no absolute protection. I mean, if we remember back to the days of BlackBerry, there was also, that was BlackBerry's claim to fame, that they have this encryption and they will never hand over data to any government, but they ended up doing so, and that's what ultimately caused the downfall of BlackBerry. So there's never any sort of ultimately there's no unending privacy.
Does the public generally know this? Does the public generally know that governments can go to Facebook and say, well, we need that person's personal information, we want to find out who they chat with, what they chat about?
It's there in the user agreements. You know, every time that they update their
which nobody ever reads.
No one ever reads it. I mean, there's an estimation that if you ever read all of your user agreements, it would take you something like 200 years. So it's kind of no one reads what is contained there, but in there is embedded that they, if they're requested by law enforcement, they will hand over information, number one, and number two, that they are able to aggregate data from third parties, which is where actually the issue really is.
Do African governments also make these requests?
Yes, you're finding a lot more requests coming out of, I mean, the guys that have got a slightly more sophisticated digital infrastructure, such as South Africa and Kenya. You're seeing a couple of such requests, and you're also getting requests which sometimes they don't get flagged and produced in such reports, which are coming from the intelligence community. So in areas where there would be uprisings or any kind of underground activity, intelligence operatives would be requesting such info.
Can Facebook say no, they don't want to reveal the information?
It's a tricky one to answer that question fairly. It's tricky because Facebook and such platforms do depend on governments, other parts of government, to allow them to operate. So, for example, if Facebook says, no, we're not going to give the information, they could then get the telecoms department, for example, to restrict their operation in that particular country. So it's a very tricky relationship, but more often than not, if it's backed up by court order or whatever the case may be, they will probably comply.
All right, Seth Mbele, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
All right, Seth Mbele there is from Digital Voodoo. With that, let's take a short break. After the break, we chat to Lebo Kunguluza about his digital bank. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now, a cafe using its own cryptocurrency has launched in Singapore. Just a street away from Singapore's central bank, a cryptocurrency firm has launched what it claims is the first cafe in the country to be owned and operated by a business promoting its own digital coin.
We just want to make sure that people understand that cryptocurrencies are here to stay. I don't think that is a question. The way technology develops and goes right now, there's no doubt about it. Developments are rapid, and the governments maybe have a little bit of an issue to follow through. But educating the people by advising on how to deal with it, which comes with a warning, because sometimes people, you know, they are too easily jumping onto a new thing, I believe is a good thing.
The booming global interest in cryptocurrencies means Singapore, which has positioned itself as a hub for financial technology in Asia, has to walk a fine line between encouraging technological innovation and reducing financial system risk within its borders. But experts have warned of a Bitcoin bubble bursting amid a recent surge in value.
Smarter people than me, CEO of PayPal, Richard Branson, they have said that they foresee the price of Bitcoin going to $500,000, $1 million. So is it a bubble, and when does it burst? I have no idea.
Despite the risks involved and potential of a bubble, Bitcoin price has soared about 19 times this year. All right, now Aza Bank will be South Africa's first black-owned digital bank. It will have no branches and all the transactions will happen online. It is being launched by Lebo Kunguluza. He joins me in studio to talk about this right now. Hello, Lebo.
Hi, Chief. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, yours is not a bank that uses cryptocurrency. It's going to use real money.
Yes, it's your normal bank. It's your normal bank like you get the other banks. It's normal transactions, normal statements, normal everything. The only thing that is just it doesn't have physical branches. It doesn't have it's a paperless bank. It's a borderless bank. So it doesn't have borders. You can't say, no, it's a bank that only is belonging to South Africa. As much as it's launched in South Africa, but it's an international, it's a global bank. But our focus at the moment is Africa, because that's where we think the biggest traction is, and that's where we want to bank the unbanked, and we want to also bank the youth.
And why did you see the need? You've started many businesses before, but never in the fintech space. Why did you see the need to start this bank?
It's a very interesting story because for most of us, my team members, especially my chief product officer, we've had many challenges with banks whereby you find that your statements, they take a long time for you to view them. Your balances takes a long time to view them. So we wanted something that gives people a better user experience. And a better user experience means that everything happens in real time. There's absolute transparency. And the experience is the most important thing to us because young people these days are very, very mobile. And everything happens on your phone. And banks are now literally closing down their branches. They've got fewer and fewer people, and everything is going mobile. So we got exposed to the best technologies in the world to create a better user experience in the banking space. And as a result, we decided to come up with this banking technology and this bank called ZAR Bank.
Is that who you're targeting then, young people?
We're targeting, yes, the young people, the millennials, because a millennial would rather go to a dentist than go to a bank manager. You know,
well,
you know
how
it is. Because for them, they feel that it's so painful to stand in that queue and so painful to be sitting there and all this paperwork that they've got to do when everything is mobile these days. So they'd rather get the experience mobile. So we've created a platform and a banking experience whereby they can be learn about financial education directly from their phone. They can set up and open a bank account within 3 minutes directly from their phone, and they can trade and transact immediately after they register and get their banking account.
Well, I'm a millennial. I hate queues. I hate dentists.
That's it.
But where are you going to be storing your money then?
Well, we've got a strategic relationship with one of the banks, the bricks and mortar bank. We're very similar to a structure like a Uber structure, whereby you find that Uber, as part of the fourth industrial revolution, is that Uber does not actually own any physical taxis, but they're the biggest taxi company in the world, same as Airbnb. We don't have to own the bricks and mortar banking infrastructure, but we work with structures that have those physical the bricks and mortar structure. So the money does not sit with us, it sits within an escrow account. And the escrow account is the one that's held by a particular bank that's got a particular license. We are the interface between the customer and the bank, and we hold the market. So we drive out there and go out and fetch the market and make sure that that market is serviced at its ultimate without us having to own the physical infrastructure. They get the best benefits out of banking.
Right. ZAR Bank?
ZAR Bank, a South African bank. ZAR is, you know, the ZAR, which is our currency.
ZA, right?
And
yeah.
A is A, and in bank, so it's a South African bank. It's an ZAR Bank.
You are, and yet you say that you're not just targeting South Africans with it.
Yes, our bank is a very good way of actually, because it's going to host about 36 currencies. It's easy for Africans now to transact with each other all over Africa. So we're going to focus on mainly the African currencies, so that it's easy when you are in Mozambique and when you are Namibia, you can easily use our card. And you must remember, our cards are going to be digital. So our cards are not going to be physical. So you are able to transact directly from your phone. So you don't need to hold a physical card in order to pay, to make a payment. And also we're going to have an NFC sticker behind your phone. So you also, again, don't have to use a physical card. You can use an NFC sticker to make your payment. And also we're introducing our NFC rings, where you use your ring to pay. So all those are new technologies that we are bringing as part of this ZAR Bank to make sure that making payments is as seamless as it can get. And you as a digital youth, you can transact all over the world.
Yeah. Lastly, very quickly, launch date.
We've already launched on the 12th of December at the Hilton, and we're going to launch our mobile app now in April, and then we're going to launch our first digital card in June 16th, on the June 16th, which is the youth Youth Day and Youth Month.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. Now
they can visit the website www.azabank.co.za.
All right, so Lebohong Nguluza, they're telling us that visit the website. He is the owner and founder of the youth bank called co-founder called the AZA Bank. Now this week we also caught up with Club DJ Switch, to tell us about his favorite piece of technology.
Hi guys, what do you do? It's your boy DJ Switch, and I want to say my favorite piece of technology is my computer. I use it actually for my DJing, and I take it everywhere. So my DJing, my work, everything is on there. So I would say my best piece of technology is my MacBook Pro.
Thank you very much for choosing Network tonight and for being a part of our network, SABC Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now, there are predictions that Samsung will lose market share in 2018, and Bitcoin futures began trading in a major financial exchange. These are some of the top tech stories from the last week.
South Korean tech giant Samsung Electronics will see its global smartphone market share drop to below 20% in 2018. This according to a report released last week by market research company Strategy Analytics.
There is pressure from Apple in the global high-end handset market and rapidly growing Chinese enterprises in the mid and lower ends of the market, increasingly being sandwiched. Samsung is seeing a gradual decrease in its international market share. Meanwhile, incidents of battery explosions last year have damaged the image of Samsung phones.
According to reports, Samsung will still remain the world's largest smartphone maker in 2018, but it will be the only manufacturer in the top 5 to lose market share. Bitcoin futures began trading on a major financial exchange in Chicago this week for the first time, allowing markets to bet on whether the future price will rise or fall.
We're excited about the launch of Bitcoin futures. It's one of our most successful brand new products ever. With any new product, there's always a span of time to develop volume, contracts traded in the product.
But purists like Vice President of Cryptocurrencies at Trading Technology believe the trading of Bitcoin futures on regulated exchanges would help encourage investment in digital currencies.
Certainly legitimizes the asset to us being at the exchange, because it now offers people a more traditional way to invest. It also may indicate to people that this really is the kind of asset that you would want to have some percentage of your portfolio or your wealth diversified into.
Advocates of digital currencies argue back with their market trend projections.
I think either Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency will exist 10 years from now, and we may very well be buying all of our goods and services with that type of currency.
In India, Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, on Tuesday dubbed China's decision to ban his recently launched mobile app as normal.
It is normal. Normal. Last now.
It is normal. For the last 58 years, China considered me reactionary like that, and then separatist.
The free mobile app Dalai Lama was launched last week on Apple Store to allow users to virtually keep track of the Nobel Peace Laureate through news updates, photos, and videos as he travels the world.
This week, our Twitter poll is asking if you've ever used voice command services on your device. Now, 23% of respondents say yes. That figure is in second place. An overwhelming 56% say no. 10% say they've tried but struggle. That figure is in last place. And 11% are asking what voice commands are. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. We leave you with visuals of a smart shoe that can even be used to make a phone call. I wonder if this one will catch on. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one. Bye-bye.